I would defend my manhood to say I've never tapped out in any game in my life. Yeah. They said, "K, you tapped out that game."
Why does the best wide receiver only have one target in Super Bowl 49?
I only cared about winning. And when the culture started to shift to where I didn't feel like that was what we were doing, okay, what am I killing myself for then?
Do you like that everybody call you, some people call you Angry Doug? Because there's a part of me that actually wants to tell everybody you fit that name sometimes.
I do?
I'm just getting this off my chest. These are the things I've been wanting to say to you.
Of course I do. Of course I fit that narrative.
Do you like the name?
Does everybody not get angry sometimes?
There's sometimes, there's often, there's all the damn time. We're on a scale of 1 to 10, where he at?
Yeah, thank you.
11. Wow. All the time.
KJ, what would you say? Somebody who was with me in the locker room every
day.
KJ?
Remember I sat next to you your last year in the team meeting room.
You did.
You was going through a lot that year, so I'm gonna give you grace, and I'm gonna say like 8.
Oh, 8.
You was going through a lot that year. You was hurt, about to retire.
A lot of stuff going on.
I was like his third. I was going through my own shit that year.
Yeah.
So,
well, I remember our conversation in the training room at the window. You remember that?
What we said?
I think it was the next year. I came back the next year, and you were talking about how you were thinking about retirement.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so one or two things. Either y'all share this conversation, or you tell us what you was going through when you were sitting next to Doug. I mean, KJ.
For me personally,
quit bailing him out, KJ.
Oh, he first.
KJ started. Go ahead.
I would say with me first. When I was going through I'm tired of football, I want to retire. It was when my son was born. It was when Kim was born. And I kid you not, when he came out the womb, I just saw life completely differently. Like all this time I'm putting in, coming home and working, putting my body and life on the line. I was like, what am I really doing? Got money in the bank, I got all this stuff. But when that little dude came out of his mama womb, I saw life completely different. So that's when I was going through my own personal retirement. Do I want to still play journey?
What were you going through?
Same, but so Tara was pregnant at the time. So I'm going through the thought process of what's about to happen, with this new baby coming into the world. So my perspective was already shifting. And also, dealing with injuries, dealing with bullshit.
Yeah.
So, it was just like, same question. What am I doing right now?
And so for you, Doug, it was year 8 when you retired.
Yep.
And you were saying that whole year, like, hey, I'm done. Mm-hmm. Was that the only reason? Children, injuries? I told you before the damn show started, hey, we're gonna keep this thing a buck. What else were you feeling to like? Cause you was in your prime. You was killing, balling, about to break the record. And you like, hey man, this year 8, this is I'm good.
So knee injury, ACL, shoulder injury. This shoulder, both shoulders, but this one had to have surgery on. It had Tommy John's, but didn't get surgery on it because I'm not a pitcher, right?
Is that where you were the elbow sleeve?
Yep.
I had no idea.
Yeah. But it got worse. The game in London. Russ left me out to dry in the middle of the field and messed up my elbow and my shoulder. So I had to have surgery on that. I had to have surgery on both groins. What am I doing? What am I doing? And, if we're keeping it a buck, like the culture was different. The situation was different. We're playing different. We're not playing for the same thing. I'm there to win. I'm only there to win. Y'all know that.
What was different about the culture?
We were not focused on winning.
Give me an example of not being focused on winning.
And when he says we, I'm gonna put words in your mouth. It's coaches, you got players, it's everyone that's a part of this pot. So this is we.
Yeah, it's everybody. There's times when you build a culture or an organization, a business, whatever it may be, right? And you originally set out on this mission. And everybody's motivated in this mission because you haven't achieved it yet, right? But once you achieve that mission, once you win the Super Bowl, I think there are folks who then reveal what their true intentions are after that, right? And for good or bad. And I'm not saying, look, we're all human beings, we all aspire to different things in life. For me personally, I only cared about winning, right? I didn't care that we won a Super Bowl. We went to another one. I'm trying to get to a third one. I'm trying every rep in one-on-ones, and KJ knows this. When you turn the film on, the next day after practice, who was on them highlights most of the time?
It was you.
Right. It was you. Why? Because I wanted to win, and I wanted y'all to know that I was here to win. Every day we turn on them highlights. If I'm not on them highlights, it's probably because I wasn't practicing. And there was very few times that I wasn't practicing, right? I only cared about winning. And when the culture started to shift to where I didn't feel like that was what we were doing, okay, what am I killing myself for then? We are not here to win.
Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna call a spade a spade. Let's call a spade a spade. Growing up, we young, we hungry, we excited, playing for the pure joy and love of the game. Mm-hmm. Right? But unfortunately, when that victory did happen, where's this attention going? Who's getting the limelight? Who's getting the spotlight? Mm-hmm. Money gets involved. Mm-hmm. Dudes leave, dudes want new bread, and I get that. And so you saw we reached the top. We got what the hell we wanted. But then you started saying we nitpicking this, we nitpicking that. We wasn't focused on the essence of just simply winning ball games and having fun. Yep. And that was the unfortunate part of this whole situation.
I want to share something with you, and I don't know if I'm out of bounds by sharing this, but KJ, your last year playing, I had many conversations with you. You were going through it your last year. Doug, many conversations with you. One particular one when you was just in the car the whole time, when you was talking about how hard it was to go inside the facility.
Yeah.
I'm bringing that up because I learned lessons from you guys. And what I learned is that no matter how great things might seem on someone, whether it's finances or family, all those things, you truly never know what's going on the inside with them. And I don't think many people know that the two of you, your last years in the game, is it fair to say you guys are just flat out struggling?
It wasn't fun.
No.
It wasn't fun.
I can say for me specifically, football was my outlet, right? That was my escape from a lot of things that happened in my childhood. And that was my safe haven. When I felt like things were going right in the football field, or I had control over the outcome of games, practice, of that rep, or the culture and the environment, then I felt safe, right? When you lose that control or the perception of that control, it's a very unsafe feeling. And my natural reaction is to be angry, is to fight back against that. And it got to the point where, the squeaky wheel gets the oil or gets chopped off the block, right? I've had many conversations with both of y'all and, people that are still in that building, people who are no longer in that building. It's just what are we doing? When I felt like I did not have that control to, or at least the influence to affect how we were moving in that building, that was hard.
And so, Doug, but you was that dude. You was the leader on that football team. You was a dude that people respected. People look for you for answers.
Yeah.
In the midst of all of that, how did you look at yourself? How should I navigate with my leadership style? We're bringing out the best in people with addressing stuff. Because I know you direct, you blunt. People don't receive that very well all the time.
Yeah, I know G-Dog.
Jeez. Yeah. And you call a spade is a spade with you. How was you feeling? How should I navigate in this locker room to get everybody on the same page?
Yeah, I think, from the outside perspective, the perception of me, Angry Doug Baldwin, was that I was always direct, right? Always blunt. For the most part, I was, because that's how I was raised, that's how I was brought up. My grandfather taught me, just be honest. You ask forgiveness afterwards, but be honest. But in the process of maturing in the NFL, I had great leaders around me, Sidney Rice, Tavares Jackson, right? Like, and I know people knock on me like, why don't you talk about the other quarterback? Like, look, Tavares Jackson was my quarterback when I was a rookie. As a young man coming into the NFL and having no understanding of what this environment was, T-Jack took me under his wing. He brought the young guys to his house every weekend or every Tuesday before we had the Wednesday off. We called it Tuesday Takeover. And he cooked a meal for us. We broke bread together. He shared wisdom with us. Like, T-Jack will forever be one of the most important people in my career and in my maturity in the NFL because he showed me the way, But he taught me at the beginning, like, there's another way. You don't have to always be direct. And so, yeah, I took several approaches with several people in that building, right? Being direct, then asking questions that I knew the answer to, but, trying to get, to help me understand how are you coming to this conclusion? But then also, being direct about the intent behind the reasoning, right? Pete and I had a very candid conversation one time. And, Pete, I know Pete, he's going to say, I don't remember it happening that way. But I remember we were on the field. It was, I wasn't actually practicing. We were a walkthrough. And so I think some of the older guys we weren't doing the walkthrough, right? And I was over on the side with Pete, and Pete and I were just talking about the situation. And I told Pete, I was like, you can get mad at me all you want to. I'm not going to sit here and tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you what you need to hear. And, he got mad at me. He walked off. But then later that day, he came back to me and he was like, I appreciate you. So I took many different approaches. And yeah, it wasn't always, it didn't always land well. But I think if people zoom out and we look back on it, I don't know. I think we all had a role to play in helping our culture be successful.
Let the record reflect that I'm not going to ask about the situation. I'm letting that go.
Okay, thank you.
Because a lot of people always say, there goes G again. But I'll let that one go. However,
I don't even know what y'all talking about.
Oh, you don't know what I'm talking about?
I have no idea.
Okay. All right. Well,
the situation was just our culture wasn't
okay.
It wasn't where it was supposed to be.
Okay.
So
I got you.
So that's what you said to Pete. You said, Pete, our culture isn't the way it's supposed to be.
Well, I was a little bit more specific, but yeah, basically.
And that's where I'm letting the record reflect that I'm not trying to get you to be specific on that topic.
Yeah.
But I do want to move on to one topic of, you talked about how, you're struggling a little bit at the end of your career that last year. And then you hang them up. You retire.
Yep.
I really didn't hear from you for a while after that.
Yep.
Can you take us all back? Are you telling me that when you retired, things was fixed? Or was that the beginning of fixing Doug?
Yeah, that was the beginning of fixing it. I've said this, we've talked about this. I think I'm not a doctor and I didn't go and get evaluated, but I would say I was clinically depressed for at least 8 months, right? I retired. My first daughter was born. My whole world had shifted and changed in the blink of an eye. And, I didn't really have examples prior to this point in my life of how to manage this and how to deal with this properly, right? And I think even the guys who had retired before me, they all struggled. And so I couldn't really lean on them. I knew that there was a struggle coming, right? But we've talked about this. You can't really plan for that. You can say you're planning for it, but there's really no plan for that. So that was the beginning for sure. 8 months of pure hell. And I remember one day, I was sitting down in the chair. My wife was on the floor playing with our daughter, and I just started crying. And my wife was like, "Are you all right? What's wrong?" I was like, "I don't know. And that was when I got my third counselor.
Not trying to laugh.
But for real though, I was like, man, listen, we all were in this environment as men that came from hard environments and were able to face whatever challenge that was in front of us and say, fuck it, what's up? This was something different. I couldn't even control it. And
So Doug, was Was it the outlet that you didn't have that had you feeling like that? Because let me tell you something. I was on a Zoom call last week with a bunch of former NFL players, like dudes like 50, 60 years old. And they hit me up like, KJ, come talk about your Israel trip that you took. You know, talk about this. And bro, when I tell you I got on that phone call and I was just bawling. I didn't tell you this shit. I was just bawling like, hey, I'm in this space where I feel like I'm not doing nothing with my time. I feel like I'm riding away. I love my wife, but we looking at each other's face every day. And it's like I don't have this.
Yeah.
Like I didn't have you in the training room to just talk life with.
Yeah.
Was it that outlet that you feel like you didn't have?
Yeah.
I feel like that's where I'm at in my life.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't have that outlet. And you know, true to my nature, I wanted to go fight. I was thinking, man, maybe I'll go box, maybe I'll go MMA. You know, I want to go punch something.
Seriously?
Yeah, because I had all this energy built up, and I couldn't do anything with it. But that energy was I was conditioned to using that energy to control my environment, control the outcome of something, right? Like I can route you up, catch this ball, turn around, talk shit to you. I'm in control of that. Right. And that's a really powerful feeling when you don't have that, you know, it's like, I'm lost. I'm completely and utterly lost. And I don't know which way is up. And I got this baby in front of me and my wife in this house. And like, you know, I'm 30 years old. I got to figure this out. And yeah, it was rough.
So you were going through those things. And obviously we all know that you said you started crying in front of your wife and she's sitting there. Mm-hmm. How much of an impact of what you were going through, how much did it have on your family?
Yeah. Significant. You know, I struggled. So I had to go through I had to unpack everything. Everything, right? I remember I'm on the phone cussing at my mom. I'm like, you know, strange thing, prior to this situation, my mom and I were super close, right? My dad and I had a really hard relationship. But then after this situation, it kind of shifted. Like I was having a really hard time with my mom, but I was getting closer to my dad, right? And I think it's just it's part of a natural progression as an adult too, right? You get older, you start realizing that your parents are not superhumans, right? They're flawed human beings just like the rest of us. And I started to unpack that, and I wasn't doing it in a healthy way because I wasn't healthy myself at that time. So not only on my, you know, the people who were right there in front of me, my daughter, my wife, but also, you know, my mom, my dad, my brother, like, you know, those relationships started to get impacted. Friends, I went dark for a long time because I was, you know, and he always gives me shit about this, but I unfollowed G on Twitter, right?
I know that hurt his heart.
It did hurt his heart. It did hurt his heart.
What did he do to you?
But so it was a time where I didn't want to get into the details about football or this topics that he was discussing.
Yeah.
it was triggering to me, and I'm like, nah, I can't, you know. Yeah. I just saw it and I wasn't even on Twitter like that, but I saw it one day and I was no. We're friends again now though, but you know, just even my relationship with friends was changing. I was just looking at things from a different perspective. I felt unsafe, like I didn't have control. And so, you know, when you back a dog into a corner, it starts looking for what are the threats? Where do I have to go and attack? And so I was just in an unhealthy spot.
And so I think is it safe to say that when we do hang it up, when we say we're done, we're moving on, there's no damn blueprint.
No. Nope.
There's no blueprint.
No.
So the two of you, and a lot of us appreciate everything that you guys has done as a team and the incredible things that you guys brought to this community. City of Seattle, 12s, no matter where you live, you guys did so much for us. So now here we are. Everyone is getting ready to celebrate the 10-year anniversary of you guys winning the Super Bowl. For the last few minutes, you guys have been telling us and bringing us inside of how hard it was and things that you were going through. Are you now able to sit back and really enjoy this celebration and the appreciation that people are about to have for all of you?
was actually just telling my brother on the way up here, like, this is the first time in my life where I felt like I'm actually kind of missing football. I know. And like, to be honest, I still don't watch it like that.
You sure don't. I wasn't going to bring that up. You'd be in the text message like, what happened today? I was playing with Legos all day.
Like, you know, my body just don't.
You don't gravitate towards it.
It don't gravitate towards it, you know? But, you know, because it's 10-year anniversary, because we're having the conversations, you know, I'm talking to more guys that, you know, I talked to Phil Bates the other day on the phone.
LB.
Talked to Golden the other day. You know, it's just, you start reminiscing about that time, and I miss the locker room. I miss my guys. I miss my brotherhood. Like, that's, and I was telling Devin, like, you don't get that in any other realm of life, right? Like, it's such a unique and special environment. And we were such an incredible team. The culture we built, like, you know, and G will argue about this. It was the players. No?
Oh boy.
Yeah.
About to get
a good bit, Pete.
That's why I brought it up.
Yeah, I know.
That's why I brought it up.
A good bit, Pete. And we did.
Can you settle this argument? We argue about this every day. And by the way, Jermaine Kirsch, you be on his bandwagon too. So don't think you're getting away with it. Jermaine and Doug tell me that the players were the reason for the culture. And I say, yes, the players were important, but this is all established by Pete.
We don't understand culture. We young rookies from Stanford and Mississippi State. We don't know. We're just trying to make the football team. Whatever he says do, we did.
Can I cut him off real quick? Let me chop him off real quick. Okay. And Devin can attest to this. Little League football, right? From 7 years old to 14, we won every city championship except for one. All right? Got to high school. When I got to play, had our high school's best year in high school's history. All right? Got to college. Went to Stanford. When I got to play, went over there, beat up on Georgia Tech at the Orange Bowl, right? Whooped their ass. Then we get to the NFL, and we go to one Super Bowl, and we go to another Super Bowl, right? I'm not saying it's me. That's not what I'm saying. Okay, let me be very clear about that. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I understood what culture was. I knew what it smelled like. I knew what it tasted like. I knew what it felt like. I knew what it was when you were in that locker room and you looked at the guy next to you and you said, I love that human being. I love that man. That's my brother. And I will go the extra inch because I care about him. Not just because it's my job, but because I care about that person. That's what separates good from the great. It's just that minute of a detail. And that I know.
Yeah.
But Gus Bradley, Dan Quinn, and every other coach that has left here, Salah, all these other coaches that have left. Kippy Brown. What Kippy Brown used to say? Keep the main thing. What was one of his sayings?
He had a whole bunch of sayings, but keep the main thing the main thing.
Yeah. But wait a minute now. All these folks, KJ, they all recognize the culture. Don't mean that they can establish the culture.
Coach Carroll created the environment.
Thank you.
The one-on-ones. Putting Jay Lane on you. Putting the highlights up.
Why y'all do Jay Lane like that again? You know, they say what they used to do to Jay Lane.
They used to embarrass him. I can't wait to see him this weekend. Baby. But the highlights, the matchups, Jay Lane versus Doug Baldwin. The whole team ready for after practice to see what the hell happened.
What used to happen was Richard Sherman against Doug Baldwin.
He would hold the hell out of me because he knew he couldn't cover me. Be honest,
he was holding.
Sherman dog. Wait, you said Sherman couldn't cover you in practice?
He couldn't cover me. He couldn't cover me regardless. And when we got the opportunity to actually do it in the game, y'all know what happened. So let's end the conversation.
It's coming off an Achilles. But it's coming off an Achilles. But at the end of the day, he created it. We embodied it. Right?
Okay,
we made it work.
Let me articulate it this way. Pete allowed us to be who we were. Right? So he built the framework. He built the box. And then I think, don't get me wrong, John, Pete, their scouting staff, they do a decent job, right? I think they got lucky. They got lucky with a few. And also just the situation, right? Cliff being available, Mike B being available. Timing was everything. You put all of those personalities in the box and you let them do what they do, right? I mean, that was special. So Pete, what I said earlier, everybody had a role to play in the success of our culture.
Let me say this, G. Coach Carroll had his favorites.
Was Doug one of them?
Every coach has their favorites.
Was Doug one of them?
You want to know who was number one on his list?
Who?
This dude right here.
Doug?
Yep.
Really?
Take a wild guess who was number two. Who was number two? Who was Coach Carroll's dude?
Oh, Sherm.
Nope.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Doug's number one, which I know that.
Yeah.
For some reason, I don't care, Pete, if you see this. Whenever I see Pete around Doug, boy,
I got a picture. I'm going to bring up my phone right now.
He got the sparkle in his eye. Oh, he gets so happy when he sees you. And then y'all be hugging and and fighting around. I don't never even see you that way around
basketball.
anybody with Pete. But who's number two?
Earl is number two.
Yeah.
But going back to number one, when did you realize, oh, I resonate with this dude?
First day I met him. First training camp. Undrafted dude. Keep in mind, right? Undrafted cat. We're doing our physicals in the training room, right? And I'm waiting in line to see one of the doctors, and Pete's coming through, and Pete walks through. I said, "What's up, Pete? You still hurt over that ass whooping we gave you?"
That was your first words to him?
First words to Pete. Yeah. And I mean, we hit it off ever since. Like, I love Pete to death because I'm not trying to boast about this, but Pete and I are very different in the sense that we are competitors that have this unrelenting chip on our shoulders. And we related to each other with that, right? Pete coming from where he came from, like being like just, Pete wishes he could play football. Right? Right?
He tried. He tried. Love you, Coach. He tried.
Yeah.
Shout out to Pacific.
He tried. But, Pete would, and he still does, like he's just an unrelenting competitor. And I think he saw that in me. And, like when the guy's not on your team, you hate him, right? But when he's on your team, like that's your best ally. So I feel like that's what it was.
How do you think, with your personality, with Mike B's personality, with Moreno Giacomini or Sherman, like how do you think he mastered letting us be ourselves? But hey, man, y'all tripping, y'all like reel this thing back. How do you think he found that fine balance?
Add in Chris Clemens.
So let's not get it twisted. And I know Pete would be honest about this too. Pete had great coaches around him.
Johnny Kidner Jr.
Right? Like he had great coaches around him. Kippy Brown, my receivers coach. No offense to all of the amazing receiver coaches I've had in my career. Kippy Brown was by far the best, and it's not even close. And I came into the league when Kippy was, he was on the tail end of his career. So he had been through every experience he could possibly have been through. And so he knew how to manage our personalities. He knew how to handle Ricardo. He knew how to handle Jermaine. He knew how to handle me, Sid, Golden, Percy when Percy got in there. He knew how to handle these personalities.
It'll catch up to you until it catch up to you.
Listen, Kippy Brown. When I tell you a duck can pull a truck, hook the motherfucker up.
Kippy Brown.
Listen, Kippy, yeah. He had great coaches around him.
So here, okay, KJ, Doug. So there's something that stands out to me. So Doug, on one hand, you say, and you talk about how much of a competitor that Pete Carroll is. So, on equivalent with you. I want to go back to what you were talking about. What happened? How all of a sudden was the culture not a winning culture? Is it that Pete didn't have the chip on his shoulder? What was going on during that time?
So he gonna ask the question without asking.
Like a mother sucker. Should have asked that 15, 20 minutes ago.
I know. I don't even know how to answer your question, G, to be honest with you.
No. So you did say that he's the ultimate competitor.
Yeah.
And then you also earlier said
that
I got the answer.
I got an answer too. Go ahead. This gonna crush you too, by the way. Go ahead.
I'm not gonna articulate it like you're about to. But in football teams, when you're leading a team, I'm not gonna say you want to please people or make people happy or make people comfortable, but you do, right? When Coach Carroll came on, when we went to his office, and he expressed to us how, hey guys, after the big fight we had, hey guys, you need to just do this, do that. I'm like,
what?
Why? No, huh? When Earl said, you want me to act like I like these guys? It may seem so minute and so small, but
that shifted some things.
We shifted. We did what our coach said. And when that happened, I kid you not, it just started to go from here to like,
it chipped away at the culture.
Yeah.
Right. So let me get back to, let me cut them off real quick. What did I say? I said the players make the culture, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So when the players are no longer making the culture falters. It fails. And so, we weren't.
But the culture was established, or the framework, as KJ said, was established so that you guys could become adults. And I'll say this. Mm-hmm. I've never been on a football field, but I will tell you this. When I used to be around you guys, and I was there 4 or 5 days a week when you guys were new and when you were the Super Bowl champions, y'all used to talk different. I'm talking about before you got your big check. I knew a lot of y'all before you got big checks. All y'all talked about was just destroying people on the field. You guys were different. Yeah. You were wired different. Yeah. Where did that come from? You can't tell me all these collective guys all are from Pensacola and they all play football. For some reason, you guys all collectively, and we all saw it on the field when you guys beat the dog shit out of the Denver Broncos. We saw it. How did that happen?
It was that man. I presume it was that man beside you. Like you saying, it was that man next to you. I know when I line up and I look at number 31 beside me, I look at number 54 right next to me. I look and I see number 92 like, these my dogs. I got them. I'm here for them. Yeah. I'm about to go all out for them. I know their mindset. I see this dude playing with a jacked up elbow. I see Cam playing with bone spurs in his ankle. I know what this man going through. This dude got a concussion. He telling me, hey, don't tell the coach. Let me keep going. I'm respecting that. Like, I'm with you. I'm riding with you. Yeah. That's what it is. Yeah. That love. Mm-hmm.
What I always tell you.
Wow. He says it all the time.
Yeah,
he talks about the love.
Always the answer. And so the way I will say it too, from my perspective, I remember there were times prior to the game, I would sit in the locker room, headphones on, going through my pregame routine, and I start to get anxious and I start to get nervous, right? I'm like, I feel like I have so much pressure on me. Mm-hmm. But then when I zoom out and I'm like, wait, I got Jermaine here, I got Golden, I got Percy, I got Ricardo, like Marshawn in the backfield. What am I tripping about? I'm gonna have to make 2, maybe 3 big plays in this game. Everybody else gonna do their part and we can win. Mm-hmm. Once I started thinking about it like that, it became easy. Like there was no anxiety because to his point, you look to your left and to your right. You got your boys, but you got your dogs. You're part of a family. What? All right, bet. If you punch me in the face, you better look out because left and right coming too. And that's, when I'll say this. So you said when you got your big contract, I got 3 contracts, by the way. So we kept that same tenacity and that same anger and that same motivation up until when the culture started to shift. And then it shifted from we were going to go and kick the ass of the team that was in front of us to then looking inside and saying, what the hell are you doing? Like, I'm mad at you. I'll call myself out on this. I remember when I got my last contract, right? The next day at practice, I was balling. And I caught the touchdown. I caught a touchdown. And I turned to John. I threw the ball at him. I said, you ain't paid me enough.
Oh. Really?
Wait. You just got paid.
Yeah.
You went to practice, you score a touchdown, and you throw the ball at John and say you didn't pay me enough?
Yeah.
Why'd you do that?
Like I said, we was like the culture was. I was mad at where we was at. Like,
What was you mad about? You just got paid.
Yeah, we wasn't about winning.
When did the what year did the culture shift so we can all as fans go back and look at the video, the tape, and see? Because YouTube is a thing these days, and we can go back and say, what year would you guys say that the culture
Just well
shift?
documented.
I'm not gonna tell you, bro. I don't know.
Wow. Okay. I don't know.
It started with the meeting.
Yeah.
What year was that?
Doug wasn't even in that meeting.
No, I was in the other one. We had two. We had two.
Well, what meeting were you in?
The same one that he talking about. It was just on the other
The
side.
offense did it too?
You never knew this? Oh my God! Yo, this is why you talked this out. You never knew there was an offensive meeting.
Hell no.
What did Pete tell y'all?
Same thing he told them.
Wow!
I remember talking.
Hey,
Pete,
you
Pete,
are something else.
Pete,
You are something else.
Pete.
I remember talking to Earl about it afterwards. Yeah, that wasn't a good conversation.
Was you and Earl?
Yeah.
Was you and Earl?
No.
Oh,
You
you and Earl was cool.
Yeah.
Why was it a good conversation with the offense?
I mean, 'cause it's the same thing. It's like, what are you talking about? We have built this culture off of this is the standard. This is the standard. You show up every day and you work your ass off, and if you don't, there are consequences to that. Mm-hmm. Like, you got guys who are busting their ass every day, who are putting literally their life, their body on the line every day. And if you're not coming in with that same level of dedication and commitment and getting your shit correct every day, like if you make a mistake on Monday, you make a mistake on Wednesday, mm-hmm. and you come in and you make that same mistake on Thursday, then we do the walkthrough and you make that same mistake on Friday, what are you doing? What are you doing? And then we get in the game and you make that same mistake. Well, no, that's not okay. That's not okay. And no matter how many times you try to articulate what the hell is happening and asking questions like, okay, so tell me, what was this? So this happened. Mm-hmm. So tell me how you got to that conclusion. And you still don't get the right answer. And that's just not okay. It's not okay. And it wouldn't be okay in any other situation, in any other environment. And you asking these elite alpha competitors to just let it go? Shit.
I got an off the rail question for you. To be off the rail. Do you believe that one day, no, let me ask you this. Do you believe you could be a head coach of an NFL team from the standpoint of addressing men, holding men accountable, leading men? Do you believe you could do that? To where guys buy into your personality and your style?
I don't think so. Not me. That's not my role. I know my role. That's not my role.
I want to answer this, and I hope this comes off as a compliment. Here's why I don't think Doug could ever be a head coach. I don't think, especially today, that people want the truth. I think when we step on scales in the morning, we try to get naked. We try to step on it and try to be as light as possible because we want the scale to lie to us. We ask our significant other if we don't fatten them jeans, and we want to lie there. And when it comes to Doug, and I mean this, and by the way, I actually love and hate Doug for this. The dude is a truth teller. He doesn't know how to sugarcoat it. He doesn't know how to filter it. And I don't think that a head coach today could actually go through and just tell the truth all the time. I think there's egos involved. And you need your ego stroked.
Feelings.
Doug, am I right?
I'll take it as a compliment. I would like to get better at that though, because it does, it messes up relationships, personal relationships. It causes some friction. So yeah, I hear you, but also that's my upbringing, right? That's my childhood.
Because here's the thing, at the end of the day, The goal, here's the goal. The goal of holding people accountable, the goal of leading people is to bring out the best in them.
Yeah.
You can't talk to everybody the same.
No.
You could cuss a mug out right here, but one dude, you gotta wipe his ass a little bit.
I ain't wiping no.
If that makes sense. If that don't even make sense. But
and don't cut that out. Leave that right there.
I meant, you know what I meant. Like you
I
got
know exactly what you meant.
Yeah, you got it.
But whatever that is, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I can't. I don't have that skill set. Some people have that skill set. I don't.
Doug, you can do whatever you put your mind to.
Thank you, KJ. I appreciate
You can do whatever you put your mind to.
Listen. I would love to be 6'5". I had to put my mind to it. It ain't happening.
Is it fair to say if we all gave you a comp, as in a person on the defense, as a teammate that was just like you, would Earl fit that mold?
That's Earl. Right? So Earl was supposed to be down there doing 9-on-7 all the time. But Earl would always come to 1-on-1s to match up with me.
Okay, wait. There's people listening. Explain 9-on-7s.
Okay. My bad. So 9-on-7 is when the linebackers and the safeties, they do their run fits against the offensive run game. Mm-hmm. 1-on-1s, clearly, is the receivers versus the defensive backs. And so Earl would go down there, do his part for a few plays, and then rush over there to 1-on-1s and get mixed up with me in 1-on-1. And be honest. But
he did not stand a chance.
But you know what? I loved Earl for that. Like Earl knew he was gonna get his ass whooped, but he came there every day and he gave me full effort. And when he won a couple of times and he would let me know. And I'm very grateful for that. That's the culture. That's the culture.
Speaking of the defensive side of the football, I want you to keep it real with us.
Yep.
On the offensive side of the ball, did y'all ever look like, damn, this like getting all the praise, all the accolades, all Pro Bowl? Did y'all have a sense of like, we're not upholding our, you know what I mean? We're not doing enough.
See, I thought you were going a totally different direction with that. But to answer the question you're asking me, yes.
Answer the other question.
So wait, you actually used to look at, because of how great your defense and you would be like, man, our offense isn't holding up its side of the bargain?
Yeah. Listen. Listen, KJ knows this. Like there was a time me and Bobby I love Bobby to death. I remember I came off the sideline.
I remember this.
Yeah.
This is in the game.
Yes.
This is in the real game.
Yeah, in the real game. I think we was in San Diego. And we came off the sideline and I was mad. And I was talking to Pete and Bobby came over there and Bobby was doing that side of the leadership role that was necessary in that moment. And me and Bobby got into it, I was really mad at Bobby in that
Got into it is an understatement.
Yeah.
Hold on, don't sugarcoat this story. No, hold on. You come off the sideline.
I was ready.
Bangs out the head.
No, wait, screaming. Bobby, what are you upset with Pete about?
Well, no, I was just directing my anger towards Pete.
And what was that about?
Just
the performance.
The offense wasn't holding up our end of, the defense. We know how good the defense is.
Right.
And the offense, when we are all doing our job,
right,
we are just as good.
Right.
Right? Like you gotta have both parts. Well, all three pieces, special teams involved as well, right? Mm-hmm. Which our special teams was special. Mm-hmm. You had to have all of that to win the Super Bowl. Not only just to win the Super Bowl, to go to another one. But when we weren't holding up our end, and I think that's part of it. There was, I felt like a lack of accountability at times. And that's why my anger was directed at Pete in those moments.
So you came off the sideline and you said, Pete, the wide receivers suck. We suck. We ain't getting it together. Jermaine, we ain't catching the ball. We not doing our job. Is that what you said? No, I'm getting to the bottom of this because what we're not going to do is circle around this damn story. You come off the sidelines. Yeah. You mad at Pete. Yeah. What are you mad about specifically on the offense?
We had three and outs in a row.
Okay.
And as the third down receiver, I don't care what nobody says, and I know this may sound arrogant, but I knew my shit. I knew my shit. I knew the game from the chest level. I was doing shit in the first quarter so that I could whoop a motherfucker's ass in the fourth quarter. Okay? I knew what I was doing. All right? When everybody is not on the same page, and there's a specific reason why we're not on the same page, and when you go to the sideline and you communicate how we should get on the same page, and the coaches are saying how we should get on the same page, and the players are saying how we should get on the same page, and we're still not getting on the same page. Again, I don't have the skill set to not be, a soft landing. And I remember it was hot that game. Remember that?
Dudes dropping like flies.
It was hot that game. Mm-hmm. And defense was out there for 12 plays. I'll never forget, 12 plays. And I remember looking at Bobby coming off the sideline. And I remember Sherm, and Sherm was tired, but I remember like Sherm's face to me was like, y'all better fucking do this. Y'all better and then we get out there and we do the third 3 and out. And I just lost it. I was mad. Like,
what did Bobby
again, I'm here to win. Bobby was basically like, Bobby understood. Bobby did nothing wrong. Right? Would you agree? Mm-hmm. Bobby, well, I think the only thing Bobby did wrong was
he was trying to have everything chill. He was trying to like, get out my coach face, relax, win this together. That was his goal. I was intent.
I ain't gonna lie, I was ready to throw hands. I was mad.
So you so mad you want to throw hands with Bobby?
Yeah, I was gonna get my ass whooped. I was ready. No, not at Bobby. I was mad at the situation. But yeah,
KJ, what was you doing during this time? You just watching?
Probably sitting on the sideline.
I was IV, okay, straight, get your ass over here. I need an IV. I was down, and my teammates to this day, I want to fight Bruce, low key Bobby too, because they said I tapped out that game. They said I tapped out that game, and I will not go kill nobody. But I will defend my manhood to say I've never tapped out in any game in my life. Yeah. They said, "K, you tapped out that game." I get pissed off every time they say that.
They saying it to mess with you.
No, I think they.
Well, why did they think you tapped out? No, we gonna have to all go in the game, y'all.
Because I came out the game. Malcolm went in. I don't know why I went out though. I don't think I did this. Get me out, coach. But nah, they pissing me off with that, bro. Don't talk about me like that.
No, that's not true. That's not true. I know KJ. I know our team. I know our culture. I can go through the list of guys and I can tell you which guys were that way and which guys were not. And KJ was not that. He was not one of those guys. KJ would go out there on a broken leg if he could.
Am I allowed to bring up the Super Bowl? The second Super Bowl?
No, this y'all's show. Why?
It's our
I'm asking KJ.
It's our 10-year reunion.
Okay.
We got all off season to talk about.
I mean, when am I going to get another chance? When am I getting another chance to ask Doug why he only got one target in the second Super Bowl game?
Go ahead, Doug. We can talk. We can talk about it.
Doug,
it was just one.
One target. Is it fair to say? You tell me, defensive guy. Was Doug Baldwin the best wide receiver that they had?
That we had,
yes. That you guys had?
Yes.
So, Mr. Defensive Guy, why does the best wide receiver only have one target in Super Bowl 49?
What was the game plan? Was they double teaming them?
Game plan?
Were two dudes on them? Were they dropping a lineman to his side? I don't know. This is news to me. I'm Mr. You know myself. I'm Mr. Keep it PC, something. There's a reason why. One target, Doug?
Hey, side note, you were very good at this media shit. I just want to know that.
Appreciate it.
Very good at this. No, I think I honestly I don't know what the reasoning was. Part of me wants to think because Darrelle Revis matched up with me that we were maybe considering not going in that direction, right? They were worried about that. I remember telling everybody that would listen before the game that I have this motherfucker down to a T. I know when he needs to pee. All right? Like listen. And we can go back and watch the film, and there's not one play where he covered me. There's not one. And me, I'm a competitor. I don't care that we had just won the Super Bowl. I'm trying to win another one, and I'm going. You think I'm going to be a liability in this game? Nope. I don't care who's covering me. I'm killing them. And so, yeah, he matched up. And listen, we can go back and watch the film. Again, I don't care what anybody says. I know my shit. I know the game from the chest level.
Is that the reason why the one target you got was a touchdown? And then
that's irrelevant right now. What I'm saying is that I was open on every play. Every play I was open. And it's well documented. And so, that situation that we had in the end zone after I scored the touchdown, that was me basically, because, when you're a competitor against another competitor, there's conversations that happen during the course of the game, also before the game. And I was letting Darrell know that I was shitting on him the whole game. That's how I felt in that situation. I shouldn't have done that. I'm sorry.
Did you get the penalty for that?
We did. Yeah.
It's all good.
Yeah. I mean, we still should have won the game.
Absolutely. Right. All right, let's fast forward.
Yeah.
Get your tug. We going third quarter, fourth. But let's get to
Jermaine makes one of the greatest catches of all time in NFL history. Let's get that out the way. Let's not forget about that.
No.
Agree.
What happens next?
So everybody,
from your point of view,
I'm gonna tell you exactly what happened. Everybody named Mama knew we running the ball. 1 yard line. Listen, I don't care what coverage they're in. I don't care what defense they're in. I don't care who's on the other side of the ball. At this point, at this level, it's not about X's and O's. It's about who is on your team, right? Would you agree?
Mm-hmm.
Marshawn Lynch is the best running back in the NFL, right? Mm-hmm. At least that's how we all felt. Marshawn Lynch is the best running back in the NFL. Not only, if he gets hit, let's just say something happens. Defensive lineman slips through the crack, gets in the backfield, hits Marshawn. Marshawn's not going down. He's not, that's not the end of the play. Marshawn is going to find a way to get in the end zone. Not to mention, I know everybody gives our offensive line shit, but our offensive line was dogs. Mm-hmm. Dogs.
Sweezy.
Dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Breno.
Mm-hmm.
Max.
Was this? Yo.
Coon.
Come on now.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Carpenter.
Listen. Dogs. They were going to get him in the end zone. There was nothing that was going to stop him from getting in the end zone. And all the receivers, which we had done the whole year and the year prior, we're going to block our ass off. That safety ain't touching my running back, period. It's just not going to happen. I don't care what the play call is. I know I got to get this safety that's going to come down in the box because everybody named Mama knew we was running the ball. He's not going to touch my running back. We get in the huddle, and I'm doing my rah-rah thing, talking to the offensive line, get his ass in the end zone, right? Step out of the huddle to calm down so that I could actually run the play. Come back in. Russ comes in. He calls the formation. And I remember, I hear the formation. I know it's a run play. I know I'm supposed to come in motion, so I know I'm going to go get the safety. So I kind of leave the huddle, right? I know I'm going to get the safety, so regardless. But then I hear, I think it was 3-jet. It was 3-jet. And I come back in the huddle, what? And I remember Marshawn just started laughing. And I'm looking around, I'm just it's okay. So that's that part, right? But then I hear the play call. And listen, I got nothing against my boys, right? Chris Matthews was balling that game. Ricardo's my brother. Jermaine's my brother. Talk to Jermaine every day. Mm-hmm. But I want the ball. I want the ball in that situation. If you're going to throw it to anybody, throw it to me. Are you kidding me? Mm-hmm. Anyways, it's a man zone read. We know they're going to be in man. They've been in man the entire season in that situation. And it's, people think we're going to run the ball, so they're going to be in man. I'm coming in motion to get the man zone read and coming to the zone side. So I'm not even in the route concept. So then there was that part too, right? But then the play happens. And I just remember I couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe it. I just walked off the field and I was just observing everybody. And it was I don't know, it was weird, right? It was weird. Cause you come from
this didn't happen.
It didn't happen. Cause we knew we was about to win. We knew we were about to win again. 2 in a row? 2 Super Bowls in a row?
Let's rewind, bro. Let's rewind. So to my understanding, 11 personnel got called, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So 11 personnel got called.
Mm-hmm.
To this day, I still struggle with this. On defense, when a play gets called, if we don't like it, we throw a fucking tantrum. We're like, Bobby, don't call that, call something else. We do that on defense.
Yeah.
Was there no voice on the offensive side of the football that said, what are we doing? Audible check. We can't do this. The coaches are tripping right now.
Well, it's obviously not Marshawn because he laughed. And it's obviously not you because you was like, we running what?
No, I think we were all like, no, it was multiple people in that huddle at that time that were displeased with the call. But
you felt it as soon as it got called.
Mm-hmm. What do you mean? What are we doing? What are you talking about? And then, it was like, well, shit, the clock's running out. We gotta go. and yes, I think if that situation had happened again and we had multiple timeouts, I think I would have took. Hey, hold up. Hold up. Come on. Listen, you can find me later. Let's talk about this, right? I think somebody would have done that in that situation, maybe even from the sideline. However, we only have one timeout, right? And so we're all aware of the situation. So in that moment, we're just like, shit, let's go make it happen. We got to do what we got to do. Even though we don't like the play call, we got to go do what we got to do. And yeah.
So it's been 8 years. It was 2015 when that happened.
Mm-hmm.
It's been 8 years since that's happened.
Mm-hmm. 9 years. 9 years. 8 years because it'd be, yeah, you're right. My bad.
Have you found out? Have you got an answer that you are satisfied with as to the reason why that call came in?
No.
Okay.
No. And Pete, I love you, but no.
So you haven't either?
Oh, you don't want me to go there? What you're saying? No, go.
No, go there. He said he didn't get an answer, and you said you don't have an answer.
Yeah. No, but multiple times, even years after Pete, they interviewed Pete, and Pete was like, it from a data analytics standpoint, right? It could be pigeonholed as the right decision because if you throw the ball and it's incomplete, it stops the clock. So now you're on third down with a timeout. So third down, you could do whatever you want, right? And if you run the ball and you don't get in, you can call timeout. If you throw the ball, you don't get in, you can call timeout. And then on fourth down, it's like, it's all the marbles, right? So I get it from that standpoint. But this is different. This is Marshawn Lynch in the backfield with the game on the line at the 1 yard line to win back-to-back Super Bowls with the entire culture and the essence of our team hell-bent on what Marshawn Lynch brought to the table, right? Play stout defense and control the clock with the run game, right? Offense is on the field, so what do? We control the clock with the run game. We get down to the 1 yard line, we're going to finish it out with the run game. And this is coming from a receiver. Run the ball. It's Marshawn Lynch, run the ball. So, I hear that part of it, but that ain't the answer. But it's the wrong answer.
But even if on the analytics side, if throwing the ball there on second down and in worst case scenario, incomplete, now you have third down with a timeout and you can do whatever you want. Why? And I don't know if you can answer this probably, but I'm going to ask it anyways. I love you, Ricardo. Why would they throw it to Ricardo and not to their best wide receiver in a situation where it's on second down?
I don't have the answer for you on that either. Them being my boys and my family, like I trust Ricardo to catch the ball when it's thrown to him. So maybe in that situation, you're thinking maybe they're going to keen on Chris who had a hell of a game, right? Or me.
Was Chris in the game?
He wasn't in the game at that point.
Yeah, I knew that.
So maybe they would key on me in that situation.
You got one target.
I know that's you answered the question for me.
All right.
It was all of it was wrong. All of it was wrong. And it's but here's the thing. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay if you were just honest about it. Just admit it. It was a wrong call. It was a wrong call.
That's what I wanted. That's what I wanted. That's what I wanted.
But that's not what we got. The day we came back.
The next day.
In that meeting room?
Yes.
You didn't get it in that meeting?
No.
The next day.
No.
I say, he did not say that. Yeah, you said it. I said, you didn't say that.
Who got said in the meeting?
You didn't say it.
The wrong thing.
Yeah. Still my dog, though. Still like,
Yeah.
but, man,
Yeah.
you did not say that.
Hey, this is a great book, by the way.
Listen to.
Yeah, coffee. Yeah. No. Since we're on the topic.
No. Yeah. All right, man. It's our reunion. It'll be a fun weekend.
It is.
I'm excited to see the fellas.
I got a question for you though. Can I ask it?
Yeah.
I'm about to start sweating.
Nah, like that season. You know, I when I try to think back on it, it's a blur to me. So much was going on, but you know, there's pockets of things where I'm like, damn, like that was, you know, I really have fond memories about that moment or this moment. What was to you? What was your most memorable moment of that season or in that era, if you will? I've been asking guys this because it's like, you know, we're reminiscing about that time. I got my own thoughts, but
To pat myself on the back, my most memorable moment is, it's like, you have me start crying. It's like my motto that I live by since like day one. And it's hard work always pays off. I broke my foot when we played the Niners. And bruh, when I tell you, hold up, let me say, hold up. When I tell you that I stayed from sun up to sundown, rehabbing, because I knew where we was going.
Yep. I remember that. I remember seeing you in the training room on the bike at one point. Yeah.
And I went to Schneider. I said, Schneider, don't put me on IR. I said, please don't put me on IR. Give me a shot. But the window from a Jones fracture is cutting into the Super Bowl time. Like, you're not going to be able to make it to Super Bowl time. And shout out to my dog, CJ, who I'm knocking on the training room door. Hey, let me in. And so my most memorable time from that season was, broke my foot. I know where we're going, but I fought my fucking ass off to play in the NFC Championship game. I fought my ass off. I went to sleep with a bone stimulator. I went to sleep with ice. I'm taking all type of pills. I'm taking pain pills. The day of the Super Bowl, I'm getting injections. Like, I gotta do this. I've been waiting on this moment my whole life. And so for me, like, when I did that, when I accomplished that, when I hugged my family, like, man, my dad had been there for me since day one. Mom been there since day one. And when I saw them after the game, I was like, hey, we did this. Like, this wasn't a KJ thing. Like, we did this together. And so for me, that's what really stood out. Yeah. This man got me crying on my own.
Well, how about you?
Woo!
How about you answer that same question? Your most memorable moment that stands out to you about that season.
I mean, there's a number of moments. There's a number of moments. There was one in the Carolina game. I remember, listen, I was concussed. I'm gonna be honest, I was concussed. I don't remember. I want to say it was Star Lotulele who hit me. I caught a scream and came in, and I don't know who hit me. It might have been Thomas Davis. It might have been him. Somebody hit me, and I remember looking up, and I saw Jermaine, and I swear, like if I was looking at myself, my eyes was like this, right? And I remember looking up at Jermaine, I'm like, help me up. And Jermaine's like, nah, get your ass up. And I remember I got up and we're coming to the huddle, and I was like, Jermaine, give me a second. And Jermaine's like, how I'm gonna give you a second? And we get in the huddle, I hear the play call, and I don't know where to line up. But Jermaine puts me in position. And then finally, like, you know, I start getting my senses back, and then I'm saying the play call in my head so that when it comes to know what I'm supposed to do, like I know what to do. And then the play's successful. I just, like, that was the epitome of who we were. Like, going through something really, really hard every day, fighting for your job, for, you know, especially for us, the respect at the time as wide receivers, right? The opportunities, like, you know, we in the chat this weekend, right? We were talking about Puka, how he had 15 targets. And what was my first, when Jermaine said that, what was my first comment? I said, that's 3 games for us. That's 3 games for us.
He's true.
You know, like, all of it. And then to be in that situation, like, I can't come up the field. I can't come up the field because I don't know what this call is, and it might be a pass, and I need to get my opportunity. But to also have my boy Jermaine there, right? And Jermaine knowing who I was, not giving me a hand up, right? But then also just being by my side, knowing, because, you know, we both, and there's multiple situations where Jermaine has done that. Shout out to my boy Jermaine, Cincinnati game. I know you remember that too. Jermaine would never help me up.
He helps you all the time now, especially in the chat groups.
That's my brother though. But that moment is one of them. We had another moment similar to that. But I also just remember, like, the time that we spent together outside of the field. Christmas, Sydney Wright started this tradition where we would go to a restaurant. All the receivers would go there. We'd eat dinner together, and we did. I forget what the name of the game is, but, like, you know, everybody brought a present, right? The youngest got to go first, put all the presents in the middle. Youngest got to go first, pick it, but then the next person, they could steal the present from, right? What was that, White Elephant? Is that White Elephant?
White Elephant, yeah.
Whatever it is. It was the moments outside of the field that I'll never forget. Those moments, like, it's not necessarily, you know, very vivid in my mind, but it's the emotion of when I just think about that moment, like, what that does to me. And I remember when you broke your foot, and I remember when you were in the training room. I see it very clearly. You were in the corner over here, and you were on the bike, and he was determined. He was determined. You could just see it. You could just, man. Yeah, it was special. It was special.
KJ, what made you get emotional? Like, that's the first time I've ever in my life seen you cry. What made you get emotional?
Ain't nobody ever asked me that. And, like, what's your most memorable one? Like, and then I thought it hit me, like, I fought really fought. Most dudes take like 2-3 months for that. Came back in 5 weeks.
Well, before we go, you guys gave your most memorable.
What was your most memorable?
Can I give
Man, you ain't played.
What was your
You no coach?
What was your most memorable moment from maybe not that specific season, but from that era, that time that you were with? Because you were with us there every day.
Like KJ just said, I didn't play. I didn't coach. But my most memorable moment was I was the car wash dude. And my most memorable moment is the fact that because of y'all, my life has changed forever. So I'm literally living proof of how great you guys were. Let me say that again. KJ's right. I wasn't a coach. I wasn't a player. I was the damn car wash man, struggling financially, barely keeping my head above water. But because you guys were so successful, my life changed. So my most memorable moment is right now is being able to say thank you. I appreciate y'all.
Appreciate you. Appreciate you. And can I give you another shout out? You passed down that opportunity to my boy Adam. Shout out to Adam. It's my guy.
Woo! Woo! Well, appreciate y'all, Doug. Appreciate you, brother.
Hey, yeah.
Love you, dog.
Listen, I'm sorry. Pete. Everybody, I'm sorry.
You were good.
Okay, all right.
You were good.
Truth teller.
Yeah, you were good.
It's all love. It's all love.
Absolutely. Appreciate y'all.
Grateful for all of that time, all of those moments, all those seasons. Very grateful for it. Don't get it twisted. I'm not bitter. I'm not angry. It's just, we got to go through some very unique experiences that not everybody gets to go through. And when you get an opportunity to share that story with your brothers, people who've been there, who understand it, I'm grateful for that too. So thank you for having me. Thank you for letting me share my story.
Appreciate you, man. Thank y'all, man. Appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all like, subscribe. And remember, if you go do something, make sure you do it the right way.